So I believe if you click on settings, who can I look off of?
It says it on there. It says it on the side.
Just says it. So if you're in the right class and it says Math 7 1A on the left side of your screen, you can go ahead and look at the assignments that have been assigned to you. And you can work on the first one, which is one-step inequalities, I believe, which should not be very difficult because we did that like weeks ago, and you actually already took a test on it. I just haven't carved out time to give it back to you guys because me teaching you as much as I can before the big test is kind of important. If your screen does not say Math 7 1A, come up here and we need to fix that. If your screen does not say Math 7 1A, like with my class, we need to fix that. All right, so you, if you go to khanacademy.org/join, so go ahead and like at the end of it hit /join. And actually, I can make this even easier for you. So it's Jackson and Ezekiel. I'm just going to email this to you real quick. Jackson, what's your email?
Oh, JK. 1034. Yeah, one last name.
Anybody else not see Math 7 1A like on that left-hand side? Zane, sorry, I need to add. Well, I'm just going to end up forwarding you that email because I just clicked send. Forward. Yes. Everyone else good? I know a few people's schedules changed this year. We're all in 1A. So I should, from my dyno screen, see you guys all. And so I don't think you need to watch the video. Zane, you struggling to get to Khan Academy or what's up, man? Huh? Okay. Sorry, I just saw Schoology on your screen, but I know sometimes my screen's delayed. And then I'm going to need to accept that you guys have added. Ooh, and Safe is no longer in this class, so we need to get him out of here, or else his progress would count for us, not the other. Or should we leave Safe in our class so we get his progress? Yeah, you guys would like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we need poor Safe, right?
Yeah, because he's not part of this class anymore. All right, Zane, I think I see you now. Jackson, did you join?
Yeah, I joined.
Yep, and Ezekiel, did you join? So if you are 13, I don't want to show that screen, so I'm recording. At the top right, where you can see your username, whatever it is, click on that, click Settings, and change your username. If not, I'm probably going to change them for you like tomorrow. But we're not going to carve out that much class time today. So, remember the tracker thing from back in the fall? And like I will continue to track on the door. Yeah? Yeah, so that... What?
The nickname is what it shows everyone else.
Okay. I just need your actual name. Wherever you need to put it, you guys are normally smarter than me at this stuff. Put your real name in there so I can see it. Your name, like Ezekiel, yeah. And give me, I don't want to ever say your guys' like first and last names together because I post these onto YouTube, but like, so yeah, include either a last initial or a last name. Donna, why are you clicking a million times? That does not help your computer. So, to make this fair and get us started off at a clean point, we are going to clear all rings. What do you mean no? You guys were losing.
Exactly, that's the point.
So this lets us catch up and even it back out. Your class did not put in the effort we needed to earlier this year. Now, because there are 21 of us, every time each of us master something, or if one person decides to master 21 things on their own, we will level up an entire ring.
Wait, is all the classes resetting?
Yep, every single class through today will reset. So like, I doubt it'll make any difference, but, like, if you told your friends, like, hey, there's new Khan Academy posted, and they did it now, and then I clear the rings. So, take with that information what you want. But yeah, so LearnStorm is reset and coming back to us. But now, we're going to close our Chromebooks, like, halfway, because you don't need to close it all the way, because we're not going to spend that long on today's lesson. It's reviewing what we did yesterday, but a little bit slower. Zane, what's up?
I was going to say, you kind of done this yesterday because we were about April Fools.
Well, I mean, I don't like doing April Fool's stuff, so I like you guys trusting me. What I should have done for April Fool's is tell you guys to all log into WS Cloud, right, into the portal thing, and that we were going to end the year doing ST Math.
No.
Yeah.
I realized.
That's a good idea.
That's
so funny.
All right. Bring it back.
0.0.
That's why I didn't
I
do
love
that.
that.
Bring it back. How much time do you want to be able to work on homework at the end of class? Bring it back. So, what we're going to talk about works well with today having some like rough weather happening is let's imagine that you and your friends have volunteered to do some community service. Now, not like when the judge makes you, but who knows what community service is. Like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, 4-H, different people do it. Like, Jane, what's community service? Yeah, when you go do a service for others in your community, right? You're doing service for people in your community. Emery?
Oh, like me personally, I'm in 4-H, so we have to do a community service thing every year.
Yeah.
And we go to like this thing called the alumni dinner, which is basically like,
You got 10 seconds to tell us.
so like you're in school, right? And then like fast forward to when we're all out of school, like say in like 2087, we all meet up again. And like
You have
there's a
3
dinner.
seconds.
So we'd be helping you guys at that dinner.
Thank you. Sorry, I just don't have enough time today for everything I even want to do, which because I have homework time planned. Lane? Yeah. So let's imagine that the community service we're doing is going and helping out like an apartment building to paint apartments for people, maybe like older people, maybe can't paint on their own. So what we have on our paper, and you have a visual on your paper, like on your handout, so I should see everyone's handout kind of like, we're not on graph paper, we're on your handout. If 4/7 of us, like of our group that should have been there, are able to paint 9 apartments on that day. What we're wondering is if all of us show up, if the whole group, not just 4/7, but if the whole group shows up, how many apartments would we be able to paint? So if we were to try to put this into like a mathematical expression, do we know how many of us are supposed to be there?
No. 7.
Do you know that it's only 7?
No, it could be like 7. It could be a billion.
So 4/7 is just the fraction that showed up. Is 4/7 half, less than half, or more than half? It's more than half, right? Because 3.5 out of 7 is half. So if 4/7 of us show up and we can do 9 apartments, I think we could write it like this, right? So on your paper, where I left you space, you could write 4/7 of x, x being like we should be here, right? 4/7 of us. How many of us are supposed to be there? How much like progress should we have made? So really, that's like 4/7 of the progress we could have made. Should have made more. You guys want to make a guess? Would it be like 10, 11, 12? Would this double? Would it get all the way up to 18 apartments? Like, you can make a guess if you want. So if we slow down from yesterday's strategy. Yesterday we were doing reciprocals, and now I filled in my whiteboard with like, here's what we learned yesterday. Because it's going to live up here for a few days. But if we slow it down and think about the 2 different things that we were trying to undo yesterday, we used reciprocals to undo both at the same time. That's because I wanted to show you the shortcut first, but then be like, whoa, if you don't love that shortcut, because maybe it's a little treacherous, maybe you gotta like traverse across a little thing or whatever. Shortcuts aren't always the best option. Let's slow down today. So we slow down a bit and we only want to undo the division by 7. How, Raiden, can we undo division by 7? Multiplication by 7. So what we can write on our paper then, okay, we're just going to multiply by 7. So if we multiply by 7, okay, times 7. And I could just put that 7 over 1 right now because I'm just doing the 7. Your pencil should be in your hand. So on this side, we can times 7. We don't need to make any fractions over here. This should be getting written on your paper because you have space on your paper. What happens on the left-hand side since we have a 7 on top and bottom? Yeah, they wipe each other out. So this, 7 on top, 7 on bottom, gone. So my left-hand side is now what? 4x, and my right-hand side is now what? What's 9 times 7? 63. This is also on your paper. But if we rearrange the little chunks they show us, if I grab 3 of these, and you don't have to draw this on your paper, but if I take 3 of these to fill in up here, if I take 3, or wait a minute, how many does it take to make up the whole x? Like if you count right here, how many? We need 7 to make up an x, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each of these is a whole x. How many x? Oh, 4x. We have 4x now. That's what this picture is showing us. We have 4 times what we're actually looking for. How, Emery, would I undo that 4 times and get back to just x?
You divide by 4.
You can divide by 4. This should go on your paper. And we get that x is...
15.7.
So if we're talking about how much could we finish in a day, would we round that up and try to rush the painting, or maybe round that down? So even though the answer we got is 15.75, we can use what we call as the approximate equal. We could say, well, what we're really thinking is probably 15 apartments. If everybody shows up like they're supposed to, we should be able to paint about 15 apartments. Questions on how we slowed down that process to take it a piece at a time?
That makes sense.
Try the 2/3 one that's on your paper directly like below and to the left of that. We want to undo that division first because it's easier.
Wait, it is apartment?
Sure.
Wait, so 7 to that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 53. The more we practice theory, like the brain thing you just looked at. The more we practice, the more muscle we grow. Lane, how could I undo that division by 3 since it's easier to undo that first? Now, we don't want to do everything. You're right, we could. You're not wrong. We could do the reciprocal thing.
Wouldn't we just put like a 3 over 1?
Yeah, if we only want to undo that division first, we could just multiply by 3 first and say, okay, times 3, because that'll wipe out the 3 on bottom, and times 3. Here's why we're slowing this down. Yesterday, a lot of you said, well, I've got my calculator. I can do my... On the first day of the test, you will not have a calculator. On the first day of the OST, you will not have a calculator. That's a state rule. So if we think through how could I do this without a calculator, slow it down a little bit. Can I do 8 times 3? Yeah. But yesterday when we were doing like the reciprocal and I was trying to convince you guys to divide, it was just getting too complicated. We don't have to do everything at once. So what happens with 3 on top and bottom? They cancel out. So I'm left with 2x equals, and 8 times 3 we know is 24.
So that was
Zane, Lane to Zane. Zane, how do I undo that 2 times x? Divide by 2. Where? On both sides! Yeah, I know, you guys missed that. It's been like a week and a half since you probably
We
did
did
that.
not miss that. We have not missed
Look,
that.
you don't have to lie to me. It's fine.
I know Jack.
You don't have to act all cool.
Yeah, Jack probably loves it.
Shama didn't
Shama
put
would
us that. Tell Shama to.
Questions on what we just did. For real, 'cause
She's
we're gonna
probably
move on to something
thinking of
different.
you.
We're gonna move on to something different. But the same, actually.
Oh yeah, that made it.
So then in 54, it's different because it's decimals. But it's not different because we know what decimals actually mean. Kamal, what's this actually mean? Like if we try to say this correctly, like 0.85 is not the right way to say this. It's a way a lot of us do say it. 85 hundredths. So what we could do, and if you're like drawing on your paper, maybe come back to me because this is something different. 0.85, if we say it correctly, is 85 hundredths. So how could we undo that division by 100? How can we undo division by 100? Multiply by 100, and where? On both sides.
And on the bottom.
So guys, hold up. You don't even have to like write it like we've been doing it. When we multiply by 100, what happens to decimal points? Emery?
So instead of like it going from here, you go whoop whoop.
So
it becomes 85 as a whole.
if you think about us doing times 100 on both sides, what is going to happen is times 10 bumps us over once, times 100 bumps us over twice.
Yeah.
Times 10 bumps us over once, times 100 bumps us over twice, and the new numbers that we have are a whole lot easier to work with. It's 85x equals what? Take a moment, do it on your paper. Yeah, 3,621. And what's easier to work with, whole numbers or decimals? I think whole numbers. If you really want to work with decimals, you can. Up to you, but I don't really like decimals as much. Oh, so we started by doing what?
Division.
Times 100 on both sides. But now I think your brain is on the now step. Now what do we want to do, Donna? Now what do we want to do to get x by itself? What's happening with the x right now? Yeah, right now it's being multiplied, so we want to divide by 85. And where do we do that? On both sides.
Sides.
See, Emery missed it.
Hey. World War Change. X equals 42.6.
And this is where we might need a calculator because that's kind of tough.
It is.
Now, I can't guarantee anything because I don't make the test. But on the non-calculator part of the test, the math should be manageable. Like, it shouldn't be like 3,621 divided by 85. But remember, you can set up long division if you really want. You can do like the reducing strategies. You know other strategies, but also sometimes like that might just be an answer that you can click. Like, you don't necessarily have to be able to compute it. On day 2 of the test, you'd probably need to take it to the actual answer, but you'll have a calculator. Questions on what we just did to deal with the decimal situation? So if Ezekiel, pick blue or green. Blue, we're doing the top 2. So forget C and D. On your graph paper, let's practice these real quick. Whichever method you decide to use for them, you could jump to reciprocal if you really want, but you could take the slower route. When we're done with these, it is time for homework, like practice time. It is your time to do these, but we should practice these together so we have that confidence that we know what we're doing. Why should you put that all the way like closed in? Like, you could do more time here in like 3 minutes. Okay. By the way, after the homework collection this week, and honestly, I might pivot and not assign 6 and 7 to you guys. I might just do Khan Academy instead. But like what I put in math is going to start to be Khan Academy. So you will need to start playing the game with me that you do with other teachers of email me once you do something if it's already been marked as missing. So, or you could just do it on time. But like this week right now, what your plan is we're turning in paper homework. Oh, we will, but the mastery might be in Khan Academy. I can make masteries in Khan Academy. I just pull what problems I want and set it up. And, yeah, Khan Academy is way better than ST Math because I can do what I want in Khan Academy. ST Math has GG. I will give you that. But
Man, I miss this. I
$0.1
didn't know how good I had it until it was gone.
made out of this.
Matt,
Bro
how can I?
can't step
Or
over
actually,
like
I'm gonna
one
leave.
second. Bro can't even jump.
Matt, do you want to do the fraction one or the decimal one? Sure. What do you want to do to start the fraction one? Sure. Matt's going to do the whole reciprocal at once, which he's welcome to do. And actually, I think I'm going to clone this to do twice, like do this 2 different times. So if Matt does the reciprocal, what is the reciprocal, Matt? 6 over what? So that's not the reciprocal, but we are perfectly fine to start that way, and I love that you started that way because that's what I wanted to do today, is slow down a little bit. This is not the reciprocal, it's just undoing that division by 6. To be the reciprocal, we would need the 5 also, but we don't have to go that way. That's just a method I showed you yesterday. 6 on top and bottom do what?
Cancel each other out.
They cancel, so now what do we have? 5x equals, make sure you do this math,
24.
24, and then Sophie's not here.
Yep.
Not here. Ashley, how can I undo that multiplication of 5? Divided by 5 where? On both sides.
You
If you're gonna do it, you need
I
to
love
remix it into some
compilations.
sort of like put it over a like auto tune me or something. 4.8. Now, if you wanted to, if you took the reciprocal method, it would be. Actually, I'm gonna scooch this over. If you wanted to take the reciprocal method, your reciprocal here would be what? 6 over 5. And what do we need to do with the 4? Put it over a 1. And then we can multiply, and then we divide. Guys, it's the same thing. You'll get the same, it's the same. Eli, what can I do to this decimal problem? Divide them both by 10?
Wait.
This is 8/10, right? It is being divided by 10. We want to undo that division by 10. So to do that, multiply by 10, which is just going to move the decimal. Uh-oh. How do I move the decimal if, like, the decimal's there right now? I do what? We add a 0 because I can move this decimal. There's infinitely many zeros everywhere. Currently, there are zeros all over. 0 pizza, 0 milkshakes, 0. There's all kinds of 0 in this room. Okay, I don't have any pizza. Also, keeping your whole lunch. Oh, I hope there's like an ice pack on it or something. You got some random pizza in your backpack?
Yeah.
8x. So wait, 8x would then equal what? 190. And now anybody, how do we undo that 8 times? Divide by 8 where? On both sides. The rest of the class period is yours to work on practice, Khan Academy, paper practice, whatever you go. What was one? What is it? 23.75. So guys, we're getting into answers that will be decimals or fractions because the math is getting tougher. If you have homeworks missing that are in math, I would prioritize those. If you don't have 713 or 714 done, work on those. If you're all caught up, work on Khan Academy and make some progress for your class.
6.27 extras.
Oh yeah, they're just up in the cabinet probably. Give me a second. I'm gonna stop the recording.